by 2 podcast. Brought to you by Crier Media. Visit crier.co to find out about all things DB2 and sports-related content. And by Yup Beer. Visit yupbeer.com.
Glad.
Find a location near you. Now available in the beer store, and check it out. Said it last week, but they're back with some more. Bam. Yup. Pills. Just the pills.
Love that color. That color
Couple
combo.
Pills. Yo, it's a good colorway too.
The green and the gold. Man, can't go wrong. Glug.
And you know what? It's different from other Pilsners that I've had as well. Sometimes Pilsners have a little bit of that bitter taste, but this tastes like just like an organic Pilsner that without any of the extra sort of tardiness sometimes that you get with that.
Is it crushable?
Yeah, it's so fucking crushable. And I think it's 5%. Ooh, a little extra biz, a little bit extra biz to your step. What's going on? It's your boy Tish. How's it going? With my only Birdman.
Hey, baby.
Whoa,
that's a good one. I like
gobble,
that.
Gobble. Man, we it's been a fun week. We wanted to cover the Raptors and the draft last episode, but we were recording on a Thursday, so we decided to take a week, take a beat, talk a little bit about the Leafs last week. We're covering the Raptors this week, and specifically Gradey Dick, our 13th pick in the first round of the NBA draft this year. So we get into that. We bring on our boy Alan Shane Lewis. You know him from CBC and the Winnipeg Comedy Festival, and the host of a Great Canadian Baking Show. He's just a stud all around. One of my friends from the comedy world, but also an incredible basketball mind as well. And we always love having him on the show. So we introduce him in the second half of the show and break down exactly what we like about Dick, what we could care less about Dick, and what we want to see from Dick, and how we want to get Dicked. So that's basically what we're going to be covering for the second half of the show. But we did obviously have some fun on draft night. We placed a couple wagers as well, and it was a lot of commotion, a lot stirring about before the actual draft. And Bird, why don't you walk us through what our thought process was, because we laid down a couple bets and we hit pretty good on the second and third pick, because obviously Wembanyama going first in the lottery. So what kind of bring us through that story and what we were going through there.
Feel free to hop in here as well, but
I will.
From what I remember, like we had already been talking a couple days before about Brandon Miller going second, and and just the fit was better for Charlotte.
Yes.
And I think Michael Jordan was a big fan as well, and he's selling off shares and whatever, but the word on the street was he had the final say, and this was kind of his last little sprinkle of MJ on the team before he kind of ducked out. But yeah, then the day of, we see that Shams tweet, and it's like, oh, what did he say? Like, he's not impressing at the combine, or he had a lazy workout on purpose.
Well, it led to Hornets very high on Scoot.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the reasoning behind it. I think he also purposely said Paul George was his greatest player of all time or something.
So that's
and
what
I think that was calculated.
Yeah.
I think that was calculated.
Put on the tinfoil
piss off
hat
MJ.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Mr. Tinfoil Hat here.
Tinfoil head tarp.
Gotta love a tinfoil head tarp.
Jeez,
so
Louise.
Comfortable. Yeah, I think that was definitely calculated, because I don't think he wanted to get drafted there, from what I understand.
Brandon Miller did not want to go to Charlotte?
Yeah. But when has Charlotte ever done anything? Let's be honest. He's just, I don't know. That's my tinfoil hat moment. But as soon as we saw that tweet, we checked the odds, and boy, did they shift. I think Brandon Miller in the morning to go second was
minus 400 or something like that.
Yeah, crazy. I mean, I used the decimals, but I think it was 1.4. So you would have got 40 cents on the dollar.
Ew.
Right? And then, yeah, when we saw that and we switched it, it was for me when I did it on Score Bet, I think it was 4.5. It jumped by
Yeah.
like 4 points. So I was like,
I ended up
"Okay."
getting him at like plus 375. Like it was insane.
Yeah, so that would have been around like 4-1. Yeah.
So here's my thoughts on this, and I don't know if I see Brandon Miller trying to get not trying to make his way over to Charlotte. I feel like he wants to be, you're not going to obviously beat out Wembanyama, so you want to be that second pick. Scoot was obviously going for that too, but I don't think Brandon Miller did not want to go to Charlotte. He's going to have more of an opportunity. He understands that. And the work out there, I feel like him and Jordan, because I also caught a couple of videos of them, and he was explaining how they were trash talking back and forth. So like they definitely, chirping each other, but they already have that brotherly camaraderie almost.
So
So
maybe people looked at that the wrong way and they thought
I
they were
think that's what
beefing.
it was, and thought that was just straight beef. And I thought Brandon Miller was chirping Jordan
But
by
MJ
saying
probably
that.
loves that though.
He probably
He's he
loves that.
loves he loves a
He's like,
guy with that
"Let's go."
dog in
Yeah.
him.
Yeah, that's it. But then, honestly, it just never made sense for Charlotte to go Scoot. Like, it's just
No,
you're gonna
the
have
fit's
two.
horrible.
No, the fit's brutal, and like you would just have Mello and Scoot going at it. I didn't see that as much of a fit, and they definitely have more of a need for a Brandon Miller type player. Um,
Yeah.
that being said, yeah, and also like Brandon Miller also kind of he doesn't seem that serious of a player. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but his head just doesn't seem quite in it. And I also get the same vibes from LaMelo, and obviously the same thing from like Bridges as well. It's just like the whole Hornet squad is just a mess. So it's just like, you kind of fit that tire fire.
Yeah, it fits
Is
it
that
fits
wrong to
the
say?
Charlotte
Like,
Hor
obviously, I
No,
don't know much about the player at all. But it's just sort of like, yeah, you seem like a
they
Hornet,
seem
right?
kinda goofy,
They're
you know?
goofy. They're a bunch of
Yeah.
goofballs.
I mean, the
So
organization's kinda goofy,
it
but
is. It is.
hopefully I
I mean,
don't offend anyone
are you
by saying
a
that.
Bobcat? Are you a Hornet? Where are you, Charlotte? I mean, they should. I don't know. It's they're they just never figured it out.
Never.
Over the years, it's just
Couple
never
Kemba
been.
years were cool, but, like, geez, man. It's
Oh
just been
yeah,
it's
yeah,
been
and then pay
the
way too
bottom
much
of the
money
league
for Gordon
every year.
Hayward. Yikes.
Ugh.
Ugh. Um, but yeah, so that ended up leading to us being like, well, if Brandon Miller, if we're sticking with Brandon Miller going second, then we got to double down hard
Gotta double down.
with Scoot going third, and he did. And I'm like, yeah, this is what everyone thought up until the day of. So yeah,
Yeah,
maybe it had something to
why would they
maybe it had
change
something.
suddenly?
Sure, but like everything can't weigh that much on Shams, because Shams, yeah, sure, he's got his deal with FanDuel, right? So maybe that changes the
Oh,
FanDuel odds a
here's
bit.
another tinfoil hat moment.
Well, yeah, because everyone's
Conspiracy.
saying this is like that's what's changing the lines is the Shams tweet, but it's like, I don't think so. I think it's Brandon Miller going out and ruining his reputation with the Charlotte Hornets, right?
Mhm.
Like, I think that's totally it. Everyone saw that video and be like, oh my god, there's no way that Michael Jordan is going to draft this guy after he said that Paul George is GOAT. Like,
Yeah.
I think people just read into that, which
That
is
is a Charlotte
so
quote right there.
fucking stupid. It sounded weird even just coming out of my mouth. I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, sure, you're entitled to your own opinion, but you're dumb as fuck if that's what you actually think.
That's so weird.
Um, I mean,
It's
sure,
so weird.
maybe Paul George signed his jersey as a kid or something. I don't know, but like
Right.
maybe there's some more sentimental value to it. Anyways, I think it's more of just a chirp than anything else. So I mean,
Oh, you think he was being sarcastic?
yes, I thought it was
Oh,
just a
okay.
chirp. I don't think he actually
Thank
meant
God.
that.
Oh, I
It's just
did.
like, well, just maybe if he went like LeBron, then I might agree. But then it's like Paul George. Like Paul George is fine, but like he shouldn't be anybody's goat. Like I thought it was almost more sarcasm,
Yeah.
more of a chirp, and then like Michael Jordan was like, "Oh, I fucking love it. Yeah, I love that chirp." I think people just read into that
Okay.
more than Michael Jordan because Michael Jordan's already on the way out. He's good, but he doesn't want to leave this team in shambles. So
Oh.
he's gonna obviously draft the best player on the board, which was Brandon Miller, especially when it came to the fit for the team. It's Brandon Miller. So I don't know. That's
Yeah, I mean what I was saying about the other conspiracy thing is like because Shams has that partnership with FanDuel, people think he put that tweet out on purpose to change the lines. So
yeah, for
he could
FanDuel maybe, but
benefit
then
off of it.
sure, but maybe for FanDuel, but all books across the board
Well,
just
yeah, everyone followed
drastically
suit,
changed.
right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think Shams has that much weight for all of Vegas and sports betting odds galore. Like I don't think that's the case.
Yeah.
So
His
I
track
mean,
record has been kind of spotty lately anyway, so
yeah. So who knows? That's I mean, well, speaking of odds, I think we're actually going to splice in a little DB2 bets brought to you by Betstamp. Visit betstamp.app and use promo code DB2 to be able to sign up to any of the delicious sports books they have to offer with all their sweet sign up bonuses. Bang! There's the logo. But yeah, we put together a couple quick wagers here for the Canada Day long weekend and the 4th of July as well. So obviously everyone heading into the long weekend. But for us up here in Canada, we want to pick a couple homer picks here for the baseball weekend ahead of us, and we have the Toronto Blue Jays taking on the Red Sox in the series this weekend. And look, I'm just gonna say it straight up. This is a homer pick, and I think there's pretty good value on the money line over here. Blue Jays money line minus 130 as they go to face the Red Sox for the Friday night to start off the series. Look, Blue Jays, they've been like a loss and then a couple wins and then a couple losses and then a win, a loss, win, a loss. They've just basically been playing 500 baseball, and they're trying to string together a couple wins in a row here. And I think they can do that against a Boston team that has been absolutely eating L's over the last 2 weeks.
yeah, betting
Breakfast,
on the
lunch,
Blue
and dinner.
Jays reminds me of my first season betting on baseball last year
Yeah.
with with like all the Blue Jays hype, and it was like, "Oh, I know what I'm doing." It's like, "No, I really don't." Or
Right.
the team is just disappointing, right? Like it's been the same thing this year.
You know what? I mean, they're in and around the like the final spot for the wild card. I mean, they're at the bottom half of that wild card race sort of thing. There's a lot of time left for baseball, and we're gonna save it for next week too, where we cover a
Last I
little bit
checked,
more.
they had a 60% chance to make the playoffs, which is
Yeah,
pretty good.
I
It's pretty good.
yeah yeah.
They'll
I'm not
probably make it.
there's a lot of concern, and we'll get into it next week. That's what we're gonna set that episode aside for. But when it comes to the picks for this weekend, look, the Red Sox have not been playing well at all. They're losers of the last 2 weeks. They've only got
You can
a
just
couple
leave it
wins.
there. They're losers.
They're losers. They're fucking losers, and it's the Red Sox. And like Canada Day weekend, I can't take the Red Sox for the Friday pick. So
Ugh,
yeah,
what a
I
brutal
would.
weekend to get those guys through town, eh?
Yeah, right? Oh my goodness. This is going to be a lot of baseball betting, and you know how much we love baseball betting over the next few weeks. So, but that's it. I'm just going to take the Blue Jays on the money line minus 130, and then it's also going to lead to my next pick as well. When it comes to the Blue Jays and Red Sox under 9.5 runs minus 130, found that over on ScoreBet. Last one was on FanDuel. Great segue from our previous segment. But yeah, when it comes to the under on this, I like it. Jose Barrios has been pitching pretty decently as of recent. So 9.5 runs, I think that's a pretty high number. And also the under has been hitting a lot for me lately. There's not much more to it. And I got that over on score bet. I went under 9.5 minus 130. Keep it an even keel, minus 130 across the board when it comes to the odds. Get a pretty decent return for your picks there as well. So yeah, those are our picks going into Canada Day weekend. And yeah, see if you can win a couple bucks, and make sure that you follow us on Instagram and all of the platforms, TikTok, all that. We post our picks up there too. Follow along on the BetStamp app as well, because that's where we post all of our picks. We keep our receipts there so you can keep us accountable as well. Without further ado, let's jump into that interview too, because it was great to sit down and chat with Alan Shane Lewis. We're not going to get into free agency as much as we really, really want to. We're not going to get into free agency. We're going to wait for the weekend to finish so we can gather our thoughts and gather our notes, and then give us sort of a DB2 reaction on what we think over the free agency weekend. Maybe sprinkling some hockey there too, because
Hopefully we
there's
get some blockbusters.
shit is about to hit the fan. There's already been a lot of movement going on in the NHL as well. But yeah, let's save some free agency talk for now. Let's just give this some Gradey Dick love here. Love the Dick. It's man, I'm excited about the kid, man. I know you are too. I'm just happy that the Raptors actually followed through with it, and they did what is what most teams are supposed to do during the draft, is take the best pick on the board, and that's exactly what they did. You called it, they did it. It's great. I love it. So without further ado, here is Alan Shane Lewis joining us on the Down by Two podcast. So hope you enjoy. Cheers. Alan Shane Lewis on the show. Alan, my man, ASL. How you been? It's been a minute since you've been on the show. Glad to have you back.
Yeah, thank you for having me again, man. It's a lot of fun always.
Always, man. Always. I think, I think back to the different times where we've had you on the show, and even chatting with some of the Harlem Globetrotters as well.
Yeah.
It's always a great time to have you on. And I know that we can always rely on you to come on and just banter back and forth a little bit about the Toronto Raptors, the NBA as a whole. But for this episode, as we've mentioned, we're sticking with the 13th overall pick for the Toronto Raptors. Mr. Gradey Dick is who we selected in the first round of this year's NBA draft. I know leading up to this, we were chatting a bit about that pick, and you had someone else slated that you wanted the Raptors to target. And for us, for myself and Bird included, we were both big on the Dick. So let's hear what some of your takes are and why you ended up shifting over to our side, and your overall thoughts on Gradey Dick.
Yeah, originally I was like Nick Smith Jr. just because I thought of like the unknown of like losing a player like Fred VanVleet and not having a backup point guard. And I know a lot of people were kind of down on Nick Smith just because he had a bunch of injuries and he didn't get too much play time in Arkansas, but he's also a player, great passer, which Raptors could use. But I'm a big fan of Gradey. I've been kind of watching a lot of his stuff and following along, and just for personality alone, that guy is like bigger than, I don't know.
Man, he's got that charisma, man, and that's something that I feel like the Raptors really need. Like they need some sort of fun and energy in that locker room. I know Scotty Barnes can be pretty easygoing as well, but I'm not sure if that overall culture is actually there with the Raptors. So hopefully Gradey Dick can bring a bit of that as well.
Yeah, and one thing, you said it. He's like definitely like a B12 shot as far as this like energy and pep to kind of bring everybody up. But he's just a great shooter, and I think after the abysmal season that we had last year, as far as like finding players to kind of fit those needs, Otto Porter playing about 4 minutes of basketball playing time in the.
He's a bag of bones.
Yeah, as much as he is a champion, I will give him that.
That is a definite opt-in on your contract when you're looking at Otto Porter. It's not even a conversation. Man,
that was tough. So filling that hole is, with Dick is probably a great move. So I really like it.
I see what you did there. This is gonna be a long year of that. That's
never gonna be old.
Did you actually mean to say that, or did it just came out within basketball banter?
I wasn't aiming for it, and then I saw it, and I was like, I'm going to go.
Step right into it.
I love it. Eventually, I'm going to call him Gradey, but I'm never going to say no to any Dick jokes.
Like no, absolutely. As you shouldn't. Yeah. I mean, as a comic, these are just easy too. So, I mean, it's Jesse Bird, my man, you said this best, but this was the perfect example of taking the best talent that's on the board. In your eyes, was that the case here with the Raptors?
Well, it depends how you look at Cam Whitmore. We saw him slide pretty far, but he did not impress anyone at the combine. I heard, and interviews and stuff like that. So I think that really turned a lot of GMs off. But you take the talent mixed with the charisma, like you said, and I feel like it's a home run pick for where we were at in the draft order. Especially if Fred doesn't stick around, he's going to get so many minutes just right off the bat.
Immediately,
yeah. And he allows them to space the floor, like you guys were saying, which is something that we desperately lacked last year. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I just feel like it's as good of a pick as you could make at that spot. So
Absolutely. I think that was honestly the best that could have panned out right there. And the Raptors definitely executed, which, you know what? I mean, we were chatting before the draft too, and Masai, as much as we love Masai, he gets you nervous where it's just like he may just draft another Bruno Caboclo. Like, you
yeah,
just
that's what we
don't
were worried
know. And
about.
we're like, no, please
Yeah.
just take the best talent that's on the board, take Grady Dick.
And we
Please.
were talking beforehand, like we are like, oh, wouldn't it be great if we just picked Dick? Like
Yeah.
he's slotted to go around that spot, and you know he's really great. But
With all the mock
knowing
drafts, it looked like
Masai,
that's what was that was yeah, he would
we
just
were
come up out of
so
nowhere.
uncertain. Yeah,
Oh man, and then I'd record myself freaking out again, throwing things at the TV. Like, it's just who?
yeah.
Man,
Who?
I I definitely like this. And it's not only is it picking the best talent that's on the board, but it immediately fills our needs. And it's like shooting. That's exactly what we need. And we were horrific when it came to shooting last year. Not only that, but when it comes to being a shot creator as well. And we'll get into some of like his strengths and weaknesses. But being a shot creator, we need more of that, because a lot of it is just Pascal Siakam ISO or Fred ISO. Like, there's just, I mean, like, obviously having Rajakovic come in as the new head coach, and stepping away from a lot of Nick Nurse's plays and what have you, there's going to be a lot of player development within this as well. And I'm very, very excited about that. Alan, do you know much about our new head coach and what he might be able to do with Grady Dick?
Yeah, I listened to some snippets of some podcasts that he was on before, and he really believes in that like 0.5 seconds of basketball kind of playing. So basically, when you get the ball, you have 0.5 seconds to kind of like make a decision, which I like. I think basketball, once again, sorry, my cat's just walking around through.
Teo. Oh yeah, that happens.
Basketball is best played when it's played like soccer. I think that's the kind of helped me my years, because I played both. When you have multiple options ready to go, when you get before you can get the ball, and just moving the ball and making sure it doesn't have necessarily a goal. You need to get off all this, bro.
No, let him stay.
Yeah, once you have that type of decision making where you're just like kind of moving the ball quickly and there's no real agenda, the ball just needs to move into the basket. I think that's the best way to be played. And Darko kind of brings that mentality, and I kind of like the idea of it because, yeah, to your point, it was a little bit stagnant before. Sometimes it was very predictable. You just know there's a guy in the corner who's probably not going to even hit the shot, and somebody at the top doing either a pick and roll at the elbow or just an ISO with a shot. And I can't remember what the stat was, but we were like bottom half of like attacking the rim and also bottom half of actually scoring.
Yes.
Like, we were like really down bad when it comes to that. So I do like this idea. I'm Masai is not infallible. I think there's sometimes, there's some mistakes that him and Bobby Webster make, but I'm optimistic for this one. I think this type of change is great. But once again, that roster, who's coming back? So I want to see where the chips fall for that, because I don't want to blame everything on Darko if it doesn't kind of happen.
Right. Of course. But hey, he's also 6'7", and they love that height. It's either 6'7", 6'8", or 6'9". So yeah, Masai can't pass up someone that's got that kind of height there. Some other strengths, obviously. So we're talking about shooting. We're talking about being a shot creator as well. Being good in transition. He is a sneaky bit of a rebounder too. So obviously being able to slot in at that 3 position as well, having some opportunities for boards there. And then being off ball. He was
really nice.
Great off ball.
Yeah.
Is that what gets you most excited about Grady?
Yeah, I think I like the off ball pull up at any point in time, because like that's gonna make so many defenders kind of be truthful and not cheat when it comes to like the off screen picks. So that helps everyone else. Once one person gets out of position, that it's a chain reaction. Oppenheimer in a way. Free promo.
Yeah.
First person moves, the second person kind of follows, and then that moves like your weak side defender. So that gives everyone else opportunities. And I don't think there are a lot of players on that team, Fred being one of them, is one of the few players where you have to go above the screen. You can't go underneath, because they will pull it off. But not that many other players on our team can or warrant to play defense like that, which it didn't help anyone else, because now that happens, and then the other person just needs to stay home, and that's it. And then there's no kind of movement, and then it's kind of like a self-fulfilling prophecy, or like a snake eating its own tail, where it's just like, well, if you don't have shooters, it's not going to open it up. But no one's going to open up because there's no shooters, and it's just like, I don't know, kind of stagnation, and once again, it doesn't help us out.
Absolutely. Definitely agree with that. When it comes to some of the weaknesses, though, we're talking about maybe a lack of athleticism. Sure, he's great when it comes to being transitioned on the break as well, but he does lack a little bit of athleticism, which is fine. And then being a bit of a bit of an average defender as well, but a bit below average, maybe. I mean, I guess we're going to be able. A lot of players are going to be able to expose him off the dribble, and then potentially even target him when it comes to attacking him on the offense as an opposing team. Bit of speed, he lacks a bit of that, and a bit of handles as well. Jesse, is there anything specifically that concerns you about Gradey Dick and what he brings to the Raptors?
No, I think like just coming out of the draft, as if you're an average defender, I think that's like all you can hope for as a young kid. Like he's gonna get better. Like the first year is gonna be some growing pains, I think, but he's obviously gonna provide something that we lack. So, I think he's gonna get targeted a lot. But I think they'll figure it out. They'll figure out how to get him that space and unlock his strengths. So I'm not too worried.
Yeah.
He's gonna get the minutes too. And
he's gonna get minutes, man.
Hopefully this allows Pascal and Scotty and OG. I mean, if OG's still here or whatever, but hopefully it allows them to
right now.
What's CA gonna do?
Just it allows them to play their game too, right? So like I don't know. I guess like people were covering Fred a lot because he was like our only knockdown shooter.
I mean, this is also going to put the pressure on Gary Trent as well, which I'm actually very happy that he's staying. That we got him for that money as well. But
I'm not too worried about it though. Like
no.
Yeah, it's going to be some growing pains, but that's to be expected.
Hey, I'm excited for the season. I hope the Raptors are bad. I want them ticket prices to drop. I'm trying to see a courtside game of I don't even know, Charlotte Hornets for $200. I want that price to go down. Let's do it. Let's figure it out.
Man, you'll get that with the Wizards. The Wizards. You can get courtside with Wizards. That's for sure.
Close game that shouldn't be close. I'm ready for it.
Oh yeah, definitely take it on the spread for sure. And that's not also. I mean, obviously, Gradey Dick. We're happy about it. Great pick for the Raptors. A lot of people are putting it at A- for the draft grade. But also a contributing factor to that, being able to pick up a player that's undrafted, is Marquise Noel, who had a standout performance in March Madness. Broke records too, and that also kind of addresses maybe a point guard situation and have him on that two-way contract. Are you guys happy about Noel? I think it's great. Sure, he's the smallest player in the NBA as it stands. No pun intended there. But I mean, I like it. I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun watching him, and hopefully he'll be able to turn into a regular fixture for the Raptors if that's if his talent is there.
Yeah, a really flashy, nice, dissecting pick and roll assist first point guard that I'm happy to see on our team. Hopefully that shot is there. I didn't see much of that. I usually like to check the free throw percentages. I didn't check what he had for free throw. That kind of is an indicator of what type of shooter you're going to get, like, going forward. But it is something to say that we got two players in the draft that do not help us on defense. So,
I mean, that's the thing, is that defense has not really been much of our issue. Would you agree with that? I mean, like, offense has obviously been more of the glaring hole that we have. So, I mean, just if you're going to look at it from a more broad perspective, we need offense, we need playmaking, we need passing.
Sure, very true.
So, I mean, altogether, I'm very happy with our draft. I think it's great, and I'm very excited to see what the Raptors have to do. Obviously, by the time that this is out tomorrow, there might be some changes. We're not sure, which is why we're going to be looping back around and doing a bit of a recap over the weekend, and chatting about some of the big free agencies, big movement happening in free agency as well. But do you think we're going to be Fredless? Is that what it's panning out to look like right now?
I think we're going to be Fredless. I think he can't say no to that type of money, and he's a player who already won a championship, so you can't entice him with chips. He's only thing he wants right now is security, and a player whose entire model was bet on himself, undrafted type of player, didn't get selected whatsoever in the NBA draft, making everything on his own. He can't say no to that type of money.
No.
Kind of sucks that a lot of players that from that championship team, from Marc Gasol to Kawhi Leonard to Serge Ibaka, we didn't get much in return for these guys, and we just kind of let them walk. And it seems to be I hope that's not the legacy of the Raptors or even Masai, because that seems to happen a lot. You know, we always have these like great players, and then nothing kind of makes up it. Like either we get an Eric and Aaron Williams combo with no Alonzo Mourning, or we just straight up lose it like a Bosch. So hopefully that's not a thing that happens. Hopefully we can get like a sign and trade. Like I'm willing to do that. Like
yeah,
type of talk his way around. And who knows? Maybe we get a James Harden. You know, I'll take a James Harden. I don't even care. James Harden wants to go, and Fred wants to play with Coach Nurse, the only player to kind of give Nurse his love and flowers on his way out on Twitter. I don't say no to that.
Oh wow, yeah, absolutely. Hey, then you guys go do your thing over there. I mean, who knows? You know what? We can't speculate too much right now, because we're gonna have to double back and see what kind of madness ensues later on today, as this will be posted on Friday. But once again, Alan Shane Lewis, thank you so much. I know you got a jet. I know you got things you got to do, places you got to go to, people you got to see. So thanks again for jumping on the show, and thanks again for tuning in to another episode of DB2. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Have yourselves a happy Canada Day weekend. Stay safe out there, and all the rest. Take care, guys. Peace.
Bye. Thank you.